So my July release is going to be a river rafting novel. I've kind of been describing it as the River Wild meets the Night Stalker. It's another survival thriller, but I've got a big cast of characters, and I got to know them in my mind. You know, I took my family on a rafting trip last summer, and that was where the idea really hit me that I needed to knock this novel out. But I got to know those characters kind of in the same way I got to know the people on our rafting trip. You know, you're thrown together with a lot of really interesting personalities, and some of them you really click with, and some of them it's like, who is this guy that's, standing up to salute all of the bald eagles on the river and singing the national anthem? And like, there's a lot of interesting personalities. So I really, got to know them as I wrote, and then my favorites emerged, and it ends up being a little bit heartbreaking to see who survives and who doesn't. But yeah, it's an interesting get to know you game. I created this. It's a women's retreat. It's an all women's get out in the wilderness and find yourself. And so I knew that the Kaya she was going to be out there with something heavy on her shoulders, and it was really interesting. I describe my writing like a quilt in some ways, like I'm taking bits and pieces of true things about me and about things that I've heard or learned. I mean, we're all kind of a stitched together quilt of our experiences, but I really like to let that come through. And so, like, the character in the book, I won't give it away, but her husband died, and this was the trip that he always wanted the two of them to take together, and she's kind of there in his honor. But it was interesting to see which kind of ghosts from my past came out and kind of shaped who her husband was and who she is. And yeah, it is really hard to dance around some of the spoilers in the book, but yeah, it's like all these little ghosts from my past and all the things I've tucked away come together, and they start forming a new character. And that's what happened with her, and she's trying to find herself on the river, and things don't quite go as planned. This setting grabbed me so much. I love writing a lot of wilderness settings combined with, you've got a serial killer or an abduction or something that really raises the stakes. But that wilderness setting all by itself, like you said, ends up being a character. And while I was out there, we only did a one day overnight thing, but I knew they had done 5 day trips that you are completely cut off from anything. And there's only one day down that, or one way down that river. And it is, every bit as deadly as a serial killer in some ways. It's beautiful. It's nature. It's like a lion or some other. It doesn't have the ill intentions, obviously. It's just a force of nature, but it is quite terrifying. The power of that river, the isolation of the setting. It really struck me while I was there how deadly, how beautiful, how terrifying that would be, especially as someone who doesn't know that river really well. Like, you certainly have guides and you start out with guides, but being out there alone would just be so terrifying. So I thought a lot about that. I peppered my guides with these sweet 20-year-old guides, peppered them with so many questions while I was on that trip. I think they were a little bit like, what is wrong with this? I told them I was an author, and they were okay. But yeah, they were good sports in answering all of my questions about all of the things that could go wrong on a river rafting trip, from flipped rafts to hitting, even experienced rafters hitting a rapid at the wrong angle or taking the wrong line. You just got a lot of things that can go wrong in any given situation.